Hello everybody, we're back. Today what we're going to do, we finally got an e-meter by the way, and my friend is holding the cans, which is the way it's done in Scientology. I'm the auditor, he is the pre-clear. And what we are going to do today is to demonstrate Scientology's security checks. And I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. In Scientology, the security check is a practice instituted by founder L. Ron Hubbard in 1960. It involves an ethics officer probing the thoughts, attitudes, and behavior of an individual member by asking them large numbers of questions. The bulk of the questions deal with criminal or sexual activity or intentions, or other things that the pre-clear might be ashamed of. The questions also probe negative thoughts that the person might have about Scientology or Hubbard. As with traditional auditing, the subject holds the electrodes of the e-meter as they hear and respond to questions. Hubbard describes security checking as a remedy for unreasonable action, specifically the compulsion or obsession to commit actions the person feels must be kept secret. Checks are given to all Scientologists on the Bridge to Total Freedom every 6 months to all operating thetans, people on the upper levels, and to members who are leaving, staff. In a Code of Reform issued in 1968, Hubbard announced that he was canceling security checks. However, later Scientology documents refer to the practice, and former members report that it still continues. Sec checks are also known in the justice system of Scientology as integrity processing or confessional auditing. Naturally, if you leave the organization, the answers to these questions can and will be used against you. In 1972, the South African Commission of Inquiry published a report on Scientology. It recommended that there should be legislation against sec checks. However, no legislative action was taken as a result. We will now demonstrate some of the questions, the surprising questions that you might find on a security check. That's it. This is the security check. Are you a pervert? Are you or have you ever been a communist? Have you ever been a drug addict? Have you ever murdered anybody? Have you ever raped anyone? Have you ever had anything to do with a baby farm? Do you have a secret you think I might find out about? That reads, do you have any thoughts about that?
Not that I can think of, no.
Let me read the question again. Do you have a secret you are afraid I'll find out?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay, that's clean. Have you ever had unkind thoughts about L. Ron Hubbard? That reads,
Well, yes. I've had lots of unkind thoughts about L. Ron Hubbard.
let me read the question again. Have you ever had unkind thoughts about L. Ron Hubbard? That's clean. Do you hope you won't be found out? Do you think there is anything wrong with having your privacy invaded?
Yes, I do.
That reads, do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that this security check is a violation of my privacy. And what I think about and what I my thoughts should be my own and not open to discussion.
Okay, I'll read the question again. Do you think there is anything wrong with having your privacy invaded? That's clean. What do you wish you hadn't done? What has somebody told you not to tell? Did you come to Earth for evil purposes? Okay.
That's an absurd question. Go ahead.
I'll read the question again. Did you come to Earth for evil purposes? That's clean. Have you ever smothered a baby? Have you ever enslaved a population? Have you ever destroyed a culture? Have you ever torn out somebody's tongue? Have you ever zapped anyone? Have you ever eaten a human body? Have you ever made a planet or nation radioactive? Are you upset by this security check?
Yes, I mean, I know that this isn't, Scientology, but having gone through this before, it gets my blood a little hot. But it's a demonstration, and I have to remember that.
Okay, that's it. Would you like to comment on the questions and the process we've just demonstrated?
Well, having gone through this many, many, many times, it just kind of brought me back to that. And, of course, at that time, anything that I said could and would be used against me if I ever, came across, or if Scientology ever didn't like me. And they don't say that up front. They say that everything is confidential, but that's bullshit, as we know. So I'm sorry I ever had any of these done on me in the past, and not that they got anything. I mean, I've never been a criminal, but it is a violation of my privacy. And I agree with the Africans. They should have outlawed it a long time ago. And especially with the lack of ethical behavior by Scientology, that they exploit people with this kind of information.
I know that at one point in Scientology, I did volunteer work for OSA, or the Guardian's Office it was called at that time. And one of my jobs was to go through the pre-clear folders of a man who was defecting from the organization, and to go through all his sec checks or security checks and find any incriminating information that could be used against him. So the fact that these security checks are not confidential is very well known, both inside and outside Scientology.
Yeah. Well, it's a good message. It's a good thing for people to know, mm-hmm. that this isn't a confidential thing that you would give to a Catholic priest, because that Catholic priest would hold it in confidence. But in Scientology, it's all about exploitation and abuse. So whatever you say is eventually going to be held against you.
Right. Okay.
Is our 15 minutes up?
That's it.